Okay, I've stripped the wires back on the side marker, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some heat shrink through my wire first before I get the bullet connector on there. You'll see why in a second. It won't fit over the bullet connector. I need a wider piece for the bullet connector. So now I've got about 3 or 4 feet of wire so I can extend this. I'm going to go ahead and strip this back. And you all should know how to do this. I really don't need a video for this portion. Strip off just enough for it to go into that bullet connector. Bear with me, I'm doing this one-handed with my phone. So I'm going to crimp this, and I'm actually going to take the white wire, since it's the negative, and I'm going to hook it to a piece of black wire so that when I go to connect it on the trailer hitch I don't get them confused, and then I'll hook red to the black, which is the positive, and so forth. So once I get my bullet connector crimped, put some heat shrink tube on there. The piece of heat shrink tube that I have is obviously wide enough to go over the bullet connector, but it's not going to make a tight enough crimp or a tight enough seal around the wire itself, and that's why I went ahead and slid on a thinner piece of heat shrink tubing down here so that once it's connected I can slide this over the heat shrink and get it to fit nice and tight around the wire. And I'm going to crimp these on real quick and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got it crimped now. I'll take the piece of heat shrink that is thick enough to go over my bullet connector. And we'll heat that up real quick so it's nice and tight. Now it's tight around the bullet connector, and as you can see, it's still not a super tight seal around the wire itself. Same with the other side. Still a little loose side. I'm going to go ahead and slide that thinner piece of heat shrink over the wire and over the tip here so I get a teardrop effect and it's nice and tight. I got it over the edge now. Now this piece of heat shrink I will finish the job off with. Now that's nice and tight on my wire, and it overlaps the thicker heat shrink tube, and I'll do the same thing with the other side. And then I'm going to tap on a red wire to the other lead so that I have enough wire to reach my trailer hitch. Alright, give me a second, I'm going to get this hooked up. Okay, they're both connected to the extra lead wires with heat shrink. You could use electrical tape if you want. I find heat shrink to be a lot more efficient, and it makes it basically waterproof. Okay, so now instead of having little 8-inch leads of wire, now we're sitting on probably a good 4 feet of wire here. I want extra. Okay, so the next step now that I've got the wire there is we are going to go ahead and we're going to drill into the sheet metal so we can insert the light. Okay, so again, I'm going to start off with probably an 1/8 inch bit just for a pilot hole, and then I will go to my step drill and I will continue with that. See if I can get a decent angle. Again, this is a one-handed operation, so it's not exactly going to be perfect, but it'll work good enough, at least to give you guys an idea. So again, it's just the very last corner of that sheet metal, sort of a pinch seam, not quite a pinch seam, but you get the gist. Okay, pilot hole in. Alright. Again, sorry for the crappy video. I know it's shaky and everything else, but it's going to give you guys at least an idea here. Okay, I'm going to use a step drill now. I'm going to bring that hole into 3/4 of an inch, and we'll be off to the races. Okay, we finished drilling the hole. As you can see, it just is barely going to fit in there, but it's going to work. 3/4 inch from where the bevel comes down. I'm right at the top of the bevel, and I'm hanging on maybe a 1/16 of an inch on the bottom. Plenty strong enough to hold a little LED light though, so I'm not too worried about it. I'm going to get some paint. You can use any color paint. I got some touch-up paint from Mopar to match my paint, but you don't have to. It's not going to be seen. I'll be back when I'm finished with that. Okay, we hit it with paint now. We'll get some light on the subject. So again, you see a 3/4 inch hole, the very bottom of your quarter panel, and the side light will be visible to people on the road when they're cruising by you and they don't see the tail light. They'll see that. So let's next step we're going to do is we're going to take the rubber grommet off of the light, and it just slides right off because it's a lot easier getting the rubber grommet in the hole without the whole unit being in there. It's got that flange. So again, we're going to take the gasket and we'll just slip it inside there. And like I said, with the light in there, that gasket, it makes it such a pain in the ass. So definitely go that route. Take the rubber grommet off. Then you'll just take your 2 wires, the lead wires that I tapped into, and I'm just going to fish it through the hole, pulling all my wires through. Get through the bullet connectors. Let's see here. Let's get this one through. Okay, then it's just a matter of taking the LED light itself and just pushing it in the rubber grommet. A little bit of pressure, snug, tight fit, and there she is. Okay, so now we're going to take our extra wire here, and let me see if I can show you this. This will be a challenge. We are up underneath the Jeep now. You can see where it comes up underneath here with my wires. I am going to run my wires underneath the frame. I'm going to zip tie it to the frame and feed it all the way to the other side here. till I get to the wiring loom that holds on the 4-pin connector. And inside the wiring loom, the wire you're going to want to tap into, there's 4 wires. We've got, let's see if I can do this here. Inside this wiring loom, there's 4 wires. And what you're looking for, the black is ground, then there's 3 other light colored or white wires with stripes on them. So what we want out of this thing, hang on for 1 second. The wires are wrapped in some electrical tape, so I'm going to have to get inside the electrical tape. Bottom line, you're going to have 4 wires in here. You sort of see me digging into this thing now. What we're looking to tap into is the black is the ground, and there is a white with an orange stripe. Kind of looks red in here, but it's apparently they call it orange. That's the power wire for your light. The other is a green, and I think the other is a purple or something. That's for the left and right signal. So you don't want to go into those. You want to go into the white with the orange stripe. Hopefully you guys can see that. I know it's kind of a pain in the ass. Like I said, I'm holding a phone while I'm trying to do this for you. But so anyway, I'm going to get some wiring loom wrapped around my existing lead wires, zip tie them to the top of the frame so they're out of the way, and then we're just going to feed them all the way across, like so, although it's going to be on top, just to give you an idea. And then we're just going to tap into those with those wire taps, and then I'm going to wrap it up good. Well, first, actually, with the wire taps, what I'll do is I'll get some dielectric grease in there first, just to stop it from rusting, extra protection. Then I'm going to wrap it up in electrical tape, okay? So let me get back to you in 1 second. I'm going to do some trivial BS, which is just getting these 2 wires inside of a wiring loom so they're protected, and get them zip tied, like I said, to the bottom of the frame, and then we'll show you the connections once we get to that portion, okay? But again, this is just the trailer hitch wire. It runs across, and obviously I'm not going to be able to see too much, but this is the passenger side. Comes up and around. And right now I've got a shitty built bumper with a tire carrier, and there's nowhere for me to mount that, so I just got it shoved inside the hole. Side of it where you put your chain. I don't tow anything anyway, so it doesn't matter. In fact, I've got a reverse camera inside my tow hitch. It shows you I really don't care about towing anything. This thing's a wheeler. Okay, again, give me a second. I'm going to get some wiring loom and I'll be back. Okay, got the wiring loom on. I just want to give you guys a little idea how we're going to route this thing. So that's underneath the quarter panel there. I'm going to go up over the frame. Then I'm going to ride on the top of the frame there. Show you that. This piece right here. Scoot it all the way across, down here, and out. The other side where my wires are. So I'm going to route that, and then we'll show you the progress.